Hello everyone. So in this session we are going to study about the female reproductive system. In the last session we studied about the male reproductive system. In that we studied the location of testes and where will be the testes are present inside a pouch like structure, that is scrotum, it is present, and then how the sperms releases, from where the sperm releases, how it go, what will be the pathway of sperms. These are all the concept we concentrate yesterday. So in this session we are going to study about the female reproductive organ where the oogenesis forms. The female reproductive system is the only system where it not only synthesizes the egg but also it synthesizes, or let me write that one, female reproductive system. It not only synthesizes the eggs but also synthesis of ova or ovum, that is egg, and this is the place where the fertilization occurs. Fertilization occurs. How the fertilization occurs? When the male gamete enter inside the tract, female reproductive tract, where the female gametes will be there, and male gametes will be there, the fusion takes place. So this is also a path, place where the fertilization occurs, that is female reproductive system or organ. So next is development of, what I am saying you here, this is not only synthesize the ovum. Apart from the synthesis of ovum, it also helps in the, this is the place where the fertilization occurs, and the development of embryo. This is also taking place in the reproductive system, female reproductive system, and with this the female reproductive part, it also nourish the young ones. So these are all the things you can understand in this part. Okay, in which part? That is female reproductive part. So we'll see this one by one little bit later. First, the thing is what we have to understand here. Here we have to understand the location, the organ, how the structure is. That is important. That is what we are going to study today. So we'll see one by one that one. As like the male reproductive system, here also the female reproductive tract also has primary sex organ, that is ovary or ovaries. Second one is accessory sex organ. The accessory sex organ in sense fallopian tube and then uterus. So these are all the helping organ you can say here. The third one will be the external genitalia. External genitalia in sense the vagina. Vagina, this is also known as a birth canal, we can say it. We can say the birth canal, the other name for vagina. Alright, so we'll go one by one here. We'll start with the primary sex organ, that is ovary. We'll start with the structure here. So the structure, what the structure says, where it will be, how it looks, what is the role of ovary. These are all the things we can understand in the reproductive system or in the structure. Directly I'll move on to the ovaries now. The ovaries, as like in male reproductive system, in the female reproductive system also it has two ovaries or a pair of ovaries situated let me write here the description of ovaries here. So the ovaries are a pair in number. The second one is the second description, we can say it is located in the pelvic region. Pelvic region in sense, just recall the male reproductive system where the testes were present or located in the extra abdominal region. It is not in the abdominal region, but here in the case of ovary, these are present in the pelvic region or in the abdominal region, lower abdominal region. The reason is for the spermatogenesis in the male reproductive system, why the testes are little bit below or it is present in the extra abdominal region, because it need little bit lower temperature than compared to the body temperature for the synthesis of sperms. But here it is not like that. Nothing will happen to the ovary or the ovum related to the temperature. So these are in pelvic region. These ovaries get connected, the ovary, they too both connected to the uterus. Let me tell you one more thing related to the testis. As like testis, the testis playing two roles. What is that? The testis are not only it synthesizes the sperms, but also it secretes the hormones. Like that, the ovaries also, it not only synthesizes the eggs, but also it secretes some hormones known as estrogen, progesterone, so these are all the hormones secreted. Inhibin, so these are all the hormones secreted by ovary. Alright, now coming to the, let me tell you one more thing here. It measures 3 to 4 centimeter in length and 2 centimeter wide, and it looks like, or it will be almond shaped structure, we can say here. So coming to the structure of the ovary, as I told you, it is a paired structure. Only the morphology we are describing here, only the morphology we are going to understand here. The internal structure, how the eggs releases inside the ovary, we'll discuss that a little bit later. After this session we'll discuss that, but in this session only the placement I am describing you, where will be the things. Okay, so consider this is the ovary, and that ovary and one more ovary, they both get connected to the body wall by means of a thin and very thin ligaments. Alright. And this ovary also get connected to the uterus. I'll tell you. Let me complete this ovary structure here. So this is the ovary present in the pelvic region. Only if I draw the ovary, you won't understand what is going here. Alright, I'll complete the structure later. We'll come to know what is the complete system of female reproductive tract. To this ovary, there will be a accessory organ, accessory sex organ, that is fallopian tube. Why? When the ovary releases the egg, it has to reach to the uterus. Okay, so that conduction played by, or that conduction part will be taken place by fallopian tube. It means where it will be connected, or it will be present like this. It will be like this. I need little bit more place. So I'll start the diagram from this side, starting from the ovary, and then there is a tube get connected, which is get connected to the ovary. Connected means I'll explain you, not exactly it get connected, I'll explain you. Okay. So here we are having a pair of ovary and it is located in the pelvic region, and to this ovary, so what is the function of ovary? The first one will take the oogenesis takes place inside the ovary. So the result of oogenesis is releasing of one egg. Alright. So that egg sucked by the fallopian tube. So the funnel like structure is there, no. So that is the opening part of this fallopian tube which get open towards the ovary. Here also there is a funnel like structure of the fallopian tube which opens towards the ovary. So what is the necessity of being funnel like structure? Because funnel like this way, like this thing. Okay. So it is having a finger like projection. Finger like projection. So let me label this part. So this is the fallopian tube, one more fallopian tube, and the funnel like structure is there, no. The opening part is there, no. This part is labeled as infundibulum. To the infundibulum, at the corner side or at the end part of the infundibulum, there is a finger like projection known as fimbriae. So this fimbriae, it sucks the, like this it will do the eggs. When the ovary releases the eggs, the fimbriae get it like by means of suction force, it sucks the egg. Alright. So after that, let me tell you the ligaments. Where will be the ligaments? So this ovary, it has to get connected to the body wall, like this it will be. A fine ligaments get connected to the body wall and also to this part. What is this part? I'll tell you. Let me label this first. So these are the ligaments. Only for the diagram sake, only for the describing I am drawing like this, but in the diagram they have shown like this. Okay. Now, so the ovaries also get connected to the body wall and also to this infundibulum by means of fine ligaments, a thin fibrous ligaments. Alright, like this. Here the funnel like structure of fallopian tube is known as infundibulum. The fallopian tube is an accessory sex organ with a helping sex organ which helps which helps the egg to travel from one place to other place. This fallopian tube is ciliated. The epithelium tissue, the epithelium of the fallopian tube is ciliated so that the egg travel very easily from this side to that side. It can travel easily because of that it possesses cilia. And then Next to the infundibulum, this is the infundibulum region. From here to here, one tube like structure is there. No, that part is considered as ampulla. So this is the ampulla. Next to the ampulla, the opening of the fallopian tube towards the uterus is isthmus. Okay, so we have three parts of fallopian tube here. One is infundibulum, next is ampulla, and next is isthmus. So these are all together known as fallopian tube. What it is doing here? It is conducting the egg. Okay, so the isthmus opens to the muscular pear shaped structure known as uterus. I am not labeling this part as a uterus because it has three more parts. Let me write that also. So this is the uterus. Okay, so this uterus has the uppermost. This part is known as fundic, and so this part is known as body, and this will be the cervix. And this uterus, it is muscular, as I told you, it is muscular in sense made of muscles and having three layers. It is coated by, or it is protected by three layers. Outer layer is known as perimetrium. Next to the perimetrium, the perimetrium is the outermost layer of the uterus. Next to the perimetrium, myometrium, and innermost layer of the uterus is endometrium. So think this is the myometrium. So this will be the endometrium will be highly vascularized, vascular shaped, having like this kind of layer, inner layer of uterus. So that will be the endometrium. I will label this here, endometrium. So these three are the layers of uterus. Okay, so this will be the fundic, so this will be the body, and this will be the cervix. And coming to the layer of uterus is, the outermost layer of uterus is known as perimetrium. Next to the perimetrium, myometrium is present. Innermost layer of the uterus is vascularized. That vascular layer of the uterus is known as endometrium. The endometrium, so this is the layer where implantation occurs. Implantation. What do you mean by implantation? If you see the yesterday's video, I mentioned there the third phase. Sorry, not third phase, it is fifth phase, I guess. Fifth phase is implantation. What is implantation? Implantation is the fixing of the zygote. So the fertilization takes place in the ampulla region. So the egg, when it gets released from the ovary, it will come to the fallopian tube. When it will be in this region, at the meantime, when the sperm enter inside the reproductive tract, that is insemination. Okay, so by means of insemination, the sperms enters. When the egg is present at this region, meantime the sperms also released. With here, the fertilization takes place. After the fertilization, the resultant product of fertilization is zygote. When the zygote forms, later it will divide, cleavages occurs, and then it travels to the, or it moves to the uterus, where it will be, it won't like, it will be not like floating, it won't happen like that. It will settle to the layer of the uterus. That layer is known as what is that? Endometrium. There it get fixed. You can say it as the zygote or the blastula, whatever you call that, the stages are there. No, I'll tell you, that is also there in the concept. So that blastula, it get fixed to the uterus wall. That process is known as implantation. Okay, so we'll see the next what is that, accessory organism over now, external genitalia. The external genitalia comes next to this. Let me explain you about this. Then the canal, you can see here, the tube or the canal. This canal is known as birth canal, through which the embryo, the developed embryo, comes through this way. That's why this is known as birth canal. Okay, so now the birth canal, or also known as vagina, it is 7.5 centimeter long. The vagina receives the semen in sense the fluid, seminal fluid and sperms. So that content is known as semen. The vagina receives the semen from this way, and the semen or the sperm enters and it will reach the fertilization achieved by this kind. Okay, we'll talk about that later. First we'll study the structure of reproductive tract here. The structure, what it says, the external genitalia, what it has, as I told you, 7.5 centimeter long, vagina. The external structure, if we study here, it has a slit like this. The external genitalia, we were talking about vulva. Okay, so it has a pore, like not a pore, sorry, aperture. That aperture is nothing but urethral meatus or urethral aperture. And next to the urethral aperture, there is a vaginal aperture. So when it followed by this canal, followed by an opening, that opening we are talking here. Externally, how it looks, how it will be, we are describing this here. So here urethral aperture you can consider. So the urethral aperture will be here. Through the urethral aperture, urine get excreted. Next to the urethral aperture, vaginal aperture is present. Behind to the vaginal aperture, anal canal or rectum is present. So by this way, the apertures are present in the female reproductive tract. So the vaginal aperture has a diaphragm, a partially covered layer, a membrane. That membrane is known as hymen. So this hymen, it is present in the virgin females. It is not sure, we can't say, only it is present in the virgin females. It get torn in the athletes or the girls who, the females who do exercises. It get torn in those females though. So the hymen is the layer or the membrane, it covers the vaginal aperture. And then next, after this, let me erase this. A membrane, a tissue a small tissue covers this aperture. So this tissue is known as, this tissue is of a pair of tissues are present which covers this apertures. So that is labia minora. Upper part of this labia minora, there is a loose skin. Prepuce, we can call it as prepuce. Inside the prepuce, there is a tiny finger-like projection is present. That finger-like projection, a small tiny finger-like projection, is known as clitoris. Clitoris. Upper part of this, vulva or genital, external genitalia, it has a loose skin known as prepuce, and inside that finger-like tiny projection is present, that is known as clitoris, and it is all, so these apertures are covered by an internal membrane known as labia minora. So let me tell you, the clitoris, it is a homologous organ of female penis. It means in the male reproductive system, the penis is present. So that penis is the external genitalia through which, or we can call it as urogenital organ or copulatory organ. So the homologous organ or identical organ which is present in the female reproductive system is clitoris. Okay, so that I'll explain you in the class. So after this, one more membrane, one more tissue, a pair of tissue which covers this, so that is known as labia majora. And labia majora, the anterior portion of the external genitalia is, so these are all the covering membrane, you can call it as. So the anterior portion will be mons pubis. Upper part of the genital membrane, or genital, external genital, upper part or anterior part is known as mons pubis. So the mons pubis is made of a little bit thick tissue, and it is covered by a course of pubic hairs. So these are all the structure and description of what? Female reproductive tract. As I told you, it is not only synthesizing the egg, but also it is a site of fertilization, it is a site of development of, it is a site or it is a place where the fetus develops, and not only it develops the fetus, it also nourishes the young ones. So these are all the things we studied yesterday. In the next session, we'll talk about the next part. I'll describe you.